I first met Remat Ali and Showbiz in 1974 when I was doing Jesus Christ Superstar, a big musical. When I say big, I mean huge. You know, I was the chief, shall we say, advertising guru for Hindustan Lever for something like 37 years. And so all these things went along, and we are always doing mad things. I believe creativity, the only, shall we say, criterion for creativity is if you see it and you say, I've never seen that before. That's creative.
Showbiz, in fact, revolutionized event and activation in India by bringing in a high level of professional standards. My first interaction with Showbiz was for the launch of what we called India's most eagerly awaited car, the Indica.
The change which Showbiz brought in was that they started looking at it from the audience's point of view, of saying, here's a set of people who are coming in to see this conference. How does this conference make sense for them? They were much more consumer focused compared to where we were earlier.
We have been running SAP TechEd here in India for the last 9 years, and Showbiz has been with us every step of the way. Showbiz is an incredible part of the success of the events that we've had here.
The third area where Showbiz has really done well is the ability to think about innovation. You know, each and every time that I have been sitting with them now, the thought process seems to be what more can we do and how can we innovate in your customer delivery. And I think that's one area which has helped me showcase EMC's events as a best practice in India, as a best practice in the APJ theatre.
Well, I think one of the most memorable moments that I would talk about is perhaps the first event that Showbiz did, and that was the launch of the Ford Escort car. I think we had a very tough job with us because the Ford Escort car had already been launched, and they had a launch after the car had already been in the market. And so how do we create something which is really very, very special?
When I moved to Delhi in '95, Showbiz partnered me on what I think at that time was a shocking extravaganza. We did this ballroom in 15,000 meters of red fabric and wild sarkandas, which I love. And it was a wild, wild, wild kind of staging for a show. Today all these things have become more commonplace, but at that time it was like, whoa, you know, when people walked into that. And yeah, it was terrific. I mean, you know, anytime I go back to Bombay to do anything, I mean, there's one number I pick up the phone to call, and that's Showbiz.
It's been about close to, I would think at least 600 man days in terms of events over a period of 17 years, which would tell you about the longevity of the relationship. It would tell you about how over a period of time between Ford and Showbiz, there has been the management of constant change in terms of expectations, in terms of deliveries. We started with experiential marketing at a time when there weren't too many companies doing it. So it has been a constant evolution in the way we've expected Showbiz to actually partner us over this period of years.
We worked with Showbiz for the first time for the SAP Forum in 2012, first in Kuala Lumpur and then moving on to Singapore. It was a good experience for me and the team. We were happy with our forum's outcome and Showbiz approach towards the event. The one thing I like is the positive energy Showbiz possesses that is required to drive such globally recognized events, especially for SAP. Showbiz brought to the table a lot of creative perspective and fresh ideas that helped progress the SAP Forum forward in comparison to last year. We were able to execute some new thoughts into this event that were appreciated by our attending delegates in terms of new technology and unique interactive options for media. I look forward to our association with Showbiz in the near future to come. It's great to be working with a team that understands the SAP brand and one that possesses such requirement to back it up across other regions, apart from APAC.
Showbiz is just no longer an event agency. I think the 360-degree engagement that they get to us, I think, is phenomenal. So they understand every bit, every piece of media that surrounds the customers, be it online, be it the events, be it the entertainment that we provide. So all of it, I think, comes very well packaged. I think no other agency really can get that value as Showbiz does. And it is an association that they understand the customers because they've been in the IT space for long enough to exactly understand the value that they can get to a customer like us.
We are very big overseas. Naturally, 92% of our existence is overseas. Our exports are overseas, and our clients are overseas. And Showbiz, being one of our prime events organizer, we do use them for a lot of our events abroad, especially the one at Showbiz. They have done a wonderful job in most of the Showbiz destinations recently, whether it is in Hong Kong, whether it's in Denmark or anywhere else. They've just made a fantastic show of it, and very unique shows.
Showbiz is an international multi-division business. It's been quite a journey, and when I think from my perspective what I believe stood in the favor of Showbiz are three things. First is absolute focus on what the client and the brand needs and willing to go the extra mile for that. Second is total dependability. One can give a brief, plan the event, and then forget about it. And finally, as an organization, the willingness that Showbiz has shown to innovate, take the risks, and keep building on their offering so that they stay ahead of competition in this highly competitive area.
There was also this great thing about Showbiz which came through, and that's something that I really admired, was the youthful zest that you could always see in Showbiz. You know, there were all these young people and they were so enthusiastic, they were full of ideas, and they were sort of looking so happy to do all the hard work, staying up nights and, you know, coming up with all those last-minute solutions for all the last-minute problems. And what made them special was the fact that while there was youth, there was this great wisdom of Mr. Rahmat Ali.
We've been running SAP TechEd in India for the past 9 years. You have been an integral part of our success, so thank you for that. And the best part is that you keep getting better every year.
For me, creativity is doing something new, fresh, different. And I must say, as a partner, Rahmat Ali and Showbiz were absolutely